Johnson & Johnson knowingly sold baby powder contaminated with asbestos, a known carcinogen, for over 49 years, resulting in an estimated 30,000 lawsuits and countless lives lost. By the end of this video, you will understand why Johnson & Johnson is still operating today. Johnson & Johnson's baby powder was a staple in many American households, used by millions of parents to care for their children. But what these parents didn't know was that the talc-based product they were using contained a deadly secret: asbestos. The company's internal memos from 1969, 1973, and 1976 show that they were aware of the potential for asbestos contamination in their talc supplies. Therefore, it is clear that Johnson & Johnson had knowledge of the potential risks associated with their product. A 1974 study by a Johnson & Johnson contractor found asbestos in 98% of the talc samples tested. This shocking revelation was not enough to stop the company from continuing to sell their tainted product. But it does show that Johnson & Johnson had a clear understanding of the risks associated with their baby powder. Therefore, it is evident that the company prioritized profits over people's lives. But what's even more shocking is the extent to which Johnson & Johnson went to cover up the truth. The company hired scientists to downplay the risks of asbestos in their products and lobbied regulators to influence safety standards. They also destroyed documents related to asbestos contamination, as revealed in court testimony. But one internal email from 2009 discussed the potential risks of asbestos in baby powder, revealing the company's awareness of the issue. Therefore, it is clear that Johnson & Johnson engaged in a deliberate cover-up to protect their profits. The victims of Johnson & Johnson's negligence are countless, with many suffering from serious health issues, including mesothelioma and ovarian cancer. But one thing is clear: the company's actions have caused immeasurable harm to innocent people. But it wasn't until a 2018 Reuters investigation, based on internal documents and testimony from former employees, that the truth about Johnson & Johnson's knowledge of asbestos contamination in their baby powder was finally exposed. Therefore, it is evident that the company's actions have had devastating consequences for many people. The Reuters investigation sparked widespread media attention and public outcry, leading to increased scrutiny of the company's practices. But despite the mounting evidence against them, Johnson & Johnson continued to deny any wrongdoing. But in 2018, the company was hit with a $4.7 billion verdict, one of the largest in history. Therefore, it is clear that the company's actions have finally caught up with them. Johnson & Johnson has faced numerous lawsuits and settlements related to asbestos contamination in their talc-based products. But despite these penalties, the company has continued to profit from the sale of baby powder, with sales generating over $1 billion annually. But the most shocking fact of all is that Johnson & Johnson knew about the asbestos contamination in their talc supplies for 49 years before issuing a recall. Therefore, it is evident that the company's priorities are clear: profits over people's lives. Johnson & Johnson's baby powder is no longer sold in the US and Canada, but the damage has already been done. The company's actions have caused irreparable harm to countless people, and their profits will never be enough to compensate for the lives lost. The fact that Johnson & Johnson knew about the asbestos contamination in their talc supplies for 49 years before issuing a recall is a stark reminder of the company's priorities: profits over people's lives.